Hey everyone, welcome to this super impromptu live stream. Thank you so much to everyone who's here live. Thank you to everyone who's going to watch this on the replay. As some of you, including Miss Ebony, have guessed, I can't sleep. I've just been on call doing nights, and reverting back is always a bit challenging for me. Um, so while awake and while contemplating doing art, I thought, why not do a live stream so that we can spend time together, create art together, swatch, chat, all that good arty stuff that we love doing. And then also I thought that it would be a nice opportunity for a catch up. So it's so nice to see so many of you in the chat. Let me know what you are doing. Are you doing house chores? Are you painting as well? And then we can also jump into some of the new supplies that I've got. So some of them, half of them, actually more than half, most of them I have bought myself. And then Etchr have also sent me a gift, which you can probably tell from the title of this live stream is like, the main event. So I'm going to show it to you. And that is this. Can you see it? This is the Etchr Nano Satchel. I wanted to get it right. But it's essentially the new satchel, the new kind of carry range that Etchr are about to release. They haven't released it as of yet, and they were kind enough to send it to me. It is, let me show you, like a mini version of the mini. So I have the Etchr Slate Mini here, which is this size. And then the Nano is a different material, but still waterproof. And it's roughly that size. So it's almost like, whereas it's also bigger than the field case. So I know loads of people, I figured people may have questions. So I thought that I would be able to just answer them, hence why I love live stream. So this is the field case, which is more like a pencil case, whereas this is the Nano Satchel, which is bigger and also has a hard plate, similar to the Etchr Slate Mini, but it's a lot lighter because it doesn't have that tripod plate. And on a whole, I don't actually know why it's lighter, because I don't feel like the tripod plate is like massively heavy, but I guess because it's smaller, it's just lighter. And we've been discussing this in Ko-fi, my art membership. If you haven't already joined, then please consider doing so. I have linked it in the description. But yeah, we've been discussing the pros and the cons and taking a look at it. Even in our last Zoom session, it was kind of like impromptu, but it was nice. It was a good opportunity to actually figure out which one is right for you, because they all kind of serve a bit of a different purpose. Hey, Michelle, you are going home from work and listening as well. Get home safe. Rebecca, is it silver or is it glowing in the dark? It's silver. But in terms of color, it's more like, it's not this bright. It's more like this. Both of them are silver, but the Slate Mini is darker. Can you see? Hey Dee, nice to see you over here. They need to come up with a Nini, a combination between the Nano and the Mini. Well, that's the thing. I guess it will never stop them. It will never stop. But yeah, we've kind of been showcasing and discussing some of the pros and cons in my Ko-fi. But just to kind of highlight the features in case you're curious, and so that you can see it here, it has a pocket at the front that has Velcro. And it comes up high and it's quite thick. So in there, that's where I have been putting my like tempera sticks and things that are a little bit chunkier, because like the Slate Mini, it can't expand a massive amount through here. So for example, if I decided, which I wouldn't, but if I decided to carry like my acrylic inks, for example, they would go in the front bit as opposed to the central bit, because they won't fit there. So it has that there. It has on the back, I don't know if you can see the material, some ASMR for you guys. So it has like a plasticky cover, On the back, it has 4 areas that you can hook. And the idea is meant to be that it's versatile. So if you want to carry it like a bag, like this, you can. If you want to carry it so that you are creating at the same time, like walking and creating, then maybe you would have it across each other so that they kind of balance across you like this. If you want it portrait, then you would have it here and here so they balance across you like this. So it's just meant to be a bit more versatile. It's got a hook. And then we go to the inside where the magic happens. And in here, it's like this. So the side that has the hooks is the soft side. So it's the opposite to the Etchr Slate Mini. And the soft side is the bit that has immovable Velcro that you can strap your pencils and whatnot to it. And then on this side, this is the hard side where you can balance your sketchbook, and it has 2 straps here where you can slip in your sketchbook if you want. It has a loop up here for like your pencil or your paintbrush, and then it has another pocket here, but the pocket here is tighter than the one at the front. And also I feel like if I'm balancing my sketchbook here, I wouldn't want like, you know, anything chunky on it, because then the sketchbook won't be able to balance well. Sorry. So that's like pretty much it in terms of the features. We will kind of discuss in terms of like the cons. I feel like I prefer the setup of the Slate Mini in terms of the fact that the hardboard is on this side. So then at least it means that I could theoretically walk and paint or draw and lean on this side without these brushes and have this side hang down. But because the hard bit is on here, so the bit where you would want to lean your sketchbook is on here, it's actually, I guess, more designed so that you can strap it like this with Velcro and then hold it like this if you want to create on the go while moving. Does that make sense? Whereas with the Slate Mini, the hooks are on the hard bit. So if you watched my video where I was painting in the park, for example, I had these. This has got what a random haul. But yeah, in that video where I was going through the park, I was actually leaning on this, walking and sketching while sketching while walking. And I just let this hang down to the side, and then I was able to just put my hand in this bit, which is where the mesh is and the Velcro and the other straps are. And I'd just be able to walk, sketch, whatever, grab what I need and keep going. Whereas the Nano is the opposite way. That being said, the Nano is a lot lighter, like a lot lighter, and it's smaller and it's a size that makes more sense. It can fit B5 sketchbook in here as well. So for the time being, I'm just, I guess, I'm just having both of them out and picking whichever one I feel like at the time. And then I will be better placed to be like, this is my favorite or this is not. And I'm curious to see which one I reach for most. But I think it kind of depends on what I feel like I'm going to want to do. So if, for example, I'm going to walk and sketch, so if I'm going to a park, for example, then I still kind of really like the Mini. I like that it's bigger. I like that it has more space. I can see Rebecca's message. But then again, if I know that I want to do, I don't know, something smaller, like sometimes you don't want to carry everything. And also because this can actually, I have massive handbags, but the Nano can actually fit in my handbag, whereas the Slate is a bag of its own. But it's not big enough to carry everything else that I would need and thus not need to carry a handbag. Does that make sense? So this is what is coming. Let me know. What are your thoughts? It's not out as of yet. Hey, mommy. Hey, Rebecca. I know. Can I do it? I can do it. You like the logo? Yeah, it's cute. And let me change the camera view so that you can see the rest. this is all the stuff that we have to look at. Does it look funny on your screen? Like blurry? Let me know if it's blurry on your screen and I'll change to the normal camera. I'm not sure what it's doing. So they also sent me this, which is pretty cute. It's a little pin. I don't know what I'm going to pin it on though. Maybe like it doesn't, I don't want to pin it on this because it already has the logo and I don't want to, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what to pin it on. Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Let me know. What do you pin things on? I feel like when it comes to pins and stickers, I never know where to put them. Hey, Gloria. I never know where to put them. I never tend to use them as much. Auntie Travels, good question. Which is easier to grab supplies from when you're in the middle of sketching? The Etchr Mini. The bigger one is easier to get supplies from if you're in the middle of sketching. So if you are using the Nano, which is the smaller one, like this, and you have it open across your lap, then it's easy to get the stuff because they're just here attached to Velcro. But if you have it like this, as is intended, then you kind of have to flip it over. Do you see what I mean? You have to flip it over in terms of so that you can get your art supplies. You can't easily access the supplies that are in the front pocket. So this is more like you have your supplies to hand, you know what you're using. You maybe put your pencil, your brush here, and then you start painting and creating. Yeah, me too, Astroglio. Rebecca, I don't know the price yet. Yeah, I really wish it was on the other side. And it's so nice to see you. I feel like I haven't had you in a live stream for ages. Oh, thank you, Reggie. God bless you too. It's blurry. It is blurry. Okay, let me... Whoops. That was not my intention. Back camera. Is that should hopefully be better. This is my normal camera. I was just trying to have it like, although that looks, yeah, I was just trying to have it slightly different so the phone wouldn't be in my face, but it's okay. Hey, Hamriv. What great timing. Oh, I need to go and catch up. I've been enjoying our DMs. It makes me feel like I'm not losing my mind. Pin on a jacket or the strap of the bag. Okay, I think I'd like it on the strap. Ham. Honestly, I've been wanting to ask. Like, 100%. I would love to do that. I wanted to ask, and it's like we keep having the same thoughts, and we just need to actually action things. Oh, Astroglio, we miss you too. Honestly, I felt your absence. Pin it to the white coat. Just let everyone know. It'd be like a subtle sign for artists, right? Because if they see it, they'll be like, oh yeah, she's an artist. Everyone else will be like, okay, interesting pin. But we don't have white coats, you know, just run around in scrubs all the time. But yeah, in terms of which one it's easier to get it from, I think it depends how you use it. I like having the slate like this, as I was saying earlier. So then because there's mesh here and because I can be quite a lazy artist, although there's Velcro straps so that you can put everything in here should you wish, I tend to have some stuff like the brushes that I don't want to. Oh, that was the other thing. Brushes. So on the Slate Mini like this, you can in theory have your brush like this. I know, not great, not the best in terms of for your brushes, but it's against a flat surface. As long as you're not doing anything wild, it should be fine. Whereas on this one, it's just a little bit too small for it to comfortably do that. And if you try, which is what I did, then you end up damaging the bristles. But then I fixed it with hot water. But yeah, that's how that happened. So that's one other thing. And you can't turn it the other way. So you can't have your supplies this way. But anyway, sorry. What I was saying is that with the Etchr Slate Mini, I find it funny because, like, to me, the mini looks massive, right? So I feel like mini, nano, like, I'd be like, is mini the smaller one? But the mini is the bigger one for this intents and purposes. So if I have like brushes, for example, then I would maybe leave them strapped in here. But everything else, I am okay to just throw them in a super quick fashion, have them hang down like that because they have mesh. And then it means that when I am walking and sketching, I can just put my hand in here and grab what I want. Whereas you can't really do that if you have it clipped on the back. And if I clip it on the back, because to be fair, sometimes it is just nice to not have it like swing it and having it like feel a little bit more balanced. But yeah, if I want to have it clipped on the side, then in theory I could still get my hand underneath and get the supplies that I want. So I kind of like, I don't know, we'll see. I feel like it's so hard. Like, these are just first impressions. It's so hard to fully know until you use them quite a while for quite a long time. And I feel like I'm so familiar and comfortable with the Etchr Slate Mini, and I'm new and get used to the Nano. But the Nano is lighter. That is a massive, massive plus. No. Honestly, don't. I didn't want to ask you because I know that you're also busy. But no, the thought crossed my mind, which is actually why I'd reached out to say hi a few days ago. So great minds think alike. See, we're trying to get Astroglio to come back. Will the Tombos fit in either? So the Tombos will fit in the mini. I don't have any Tombos, so I don't know if they will fit. So I know that they are longer than other pens, but mine, I'm not sure they will fit in the Nano, but they will fit in the mini for sure because the mini is big. It's massive. No, so you can I put my sketchbook in the Nano when I took it with me to Brighton. It depends on the size of your sketchbook. So the Fatbook won't go in comfortably in either, but and the so you can fit the B5 sketchbook, which is the big sketchbook by Etchr. But if you fit the B5 in it, especially because it's still quite newish, you can't be overzealous with everything that you're getting in. But it will still, you see what I mean? It will still go and close. The corners might be a little bit more. Look what I did. The corners might be a little bit more tricky, but yeah, it will fit a sketchbook, and that's the big B5 sketchbook that I get. And when I went to Brighton, I took the smaller sketchbook. Enjoy dinner, Derwood. So yeah, it will fit both of them will fit your sketchbooks rather comfortably. You may just not be able to put anything like thick and chunky if you are using the to be honest, if you're using either, but certainly if you're using the Nano, it's a little bit more tight for space. Then, so in terms of the art supplies that I wanted to show you, sorry, I just know that there's not that many videos, so I thought it might be helpful for you guys to see the satchel and decide before it comes out whether it's for you or not. But Etchr have also kindly sent me postcards because I use them a lot. So I finished my first set of 100, and now it's time to break out the new set of 100, which I think I showed you last time, but I hadn't opened it. I feel like I'm not going to break the seal until I use them. I may use them later on the stream. We'll see how awake I am. And then in terms of other supplies that I got, the Fatbook. My Khadi Fatbook. Where is this beast? Over here. My Khadi Fatbook is officially complete. Oh, is it frozen for you? No, there we go. Yeah, my Khadi Fatbook is complete. So it's time to start and break in a new one. I will do a sketchbook tour for my Ko-fi members. And for anyone who's curious, doesn't know, Ko-fi is my art membership, is the equivalent of a Patreon. And on there, I create more videos. I do live streams, Zoom calls, art challenges. And by the way, I've just released an art challenge for Ko-fi members. I just released it today before starting this live stream. So if you haven't seen it, feel free to download it. And the way that I do the art challenges, and I asked you guys what you prefer as well, is that I do it twofold. So we have like the topic and the theme, but then I also like creating PDFs that have more prompts, more notes, references. Sometimes if I've done sketches or work for it already, I will also include that in there. And the way that I've done it is so that it is, for when you're a member, it's free. So I release them and then you're able to download them, use them at your own time at any time. And that's why I'm doing that. So yeah, so I've finished the Fatbook and I am excited to start a new one. So that's why I also got the tempera sticks, but I showed you that in the last live stream. Thank you, Terry. You have a flat rectangular water bottle. Yeah, I think, it depends. Do you mean in front of the Nano? I think it would fit in front of, well, I guess it depends how thick it is, but I think I could fit quite a lot in the front. I don't have anything that would replicate that really. Or would you say that it's the size of this, the core? Because it fits that comfortably. It fits the core plus this is getting less comfortable. And still, it will just look pregnant. But it will fit. Oh, that's such a good question. Let me put this to the side. So I quite like the Khadi papers. I don't think that they will be for everyone, and I don't think it will be for everything, but I quite like using them as my low pressure sketchbook, as the kind of sketchbook that I can do anything in. I like the texture. Wonder, though, there are some blank pages here. I think like 5 blank pages, but I'm not going back. So this is the texture on it. So I quite like the texture. It's slightly rougher than some cold presses, but I think it's quite nice. It does warp a little bit, not a crazy amount. It does allow for nice granulation, but then you can also get some nice washes. I think the main issue with it is that some of the pages, and also it has like pretty deckled edges, but some of the pages have like imperfections, like some stray marks sometimes. And I hadn't really noticed this until Johnny Szmal had mentioned it, but sometimes when you're laying down the paint and you're doing big washes, it almost looks like the paper is coming off or like it's granulating, and then when it dries, it dries normal. So that's something a little bit odd. Oh, good night, Astroglial. It was nice to talk to you though. Oh, thank you, Hammam. Yeah, no, so I've really enjoyed it because it's been the kind of sketchbook where I've been able to just create anything in it. Like I still really love this piece that I did that was just messing around. I did lots of abstract grids. It's nice for these colors, by the way, are the ones that I made myself. So I did gigantic swatches so that I could see their true properties and make sure that they were okay. And I love them, especially this one. So yeah, so I enjoy it. It's not like, I can't explain it. It's not like my favorite sketchbook. It's my favorite sketchbook for low pressure stuff. for certain things. If I want to mess around with watercolor or with wet mediums, then I really enjoy it because I can get some really nice blends and it will take all mediums. If I want something with like fine, precise lines, then perhaps I wouldn't like this as much. I can write with a fountain pen on it, but it's not like, I feel like if I kept going, it would just pick up some of the paper. So it's almost like, you know how everyone seems to love the Royal Talons for doing everything? It's my watercolor equivalent of the Royal Talons. And these are from some of the Ko-fi sessions that we've done. I think that's why I've filled out most of the sketchbook. This was from life, looking at some pretty peonies that I had. Hey, Nicole. And Terry, it's so nice to see so many familiar faces. If I didn't say hi, I'm sorry. I do see you guys. I've now forgotten who I've forgotten to say hi to and who I haven't. Oh, thank you. The price range is nice. It's 12 USD. It's 12 pounds. So yeah. It's 12 to 15 pounds depending on where I get it from. I think the main thing is just that it gets sold out quite a lot. The paper's 150 GSM, so it's relatively thin, but it has 200 pages for 100% cotton watercolor paper. So again, it's not something that I would love to use for like lots of layers or finished pieces or anything like that. For that, my Etchr sketchbooks are my go-to. Both the everyday one, but also I've just started. Oh, it's under a mountain. But the everyday one and the signature series one is my favorite. Like this. Ooh, this bad boy is my favorite. But for the messing around, for the fast studies, for the swatches and I just need to create something anywhere, I love this one. Yeah, I know. Like I said, it does have some imperfections, but I really quite like it. So it's 100% cotton rag, 100 GSM, sorry, not 150. And they say something, they normally call it like 48 sheets, but I think it's like 48 sheets folded in a certain way. When we started counting, I got tired / bored / distracted after 100. So I think it actually has 200 pages total, as in 200 front and back, 100 one side, I think, something like that. Then the other thing that I got is I have officially run out of my of my Quin Magenta and My Magenta by Szmal. I ran out of the half pan that I got. I then got a full pan and cut it in half and added it, ran out of that. Got the second half, ran out of that. Because initially I was using Quin Magenta as well. Then was like, I'm not going to buy any more magentas. Quin Magenta. I'm going to use magenta in place of Quin Magenta. Finished the full pan as well, and wanted to top up on that. So I decided to get a few colors, and then it also kind of came to my attention that a lot of the Szmal colors have like jumped up in price compared to when I first got them. Now I still think that they are good for their price, but they're definitely a lot more than they used to be. Like a lot more than they used to be. So I saw a sale on Art Miranda and I decided to top up on some of the other colors. And a lot of the colors that I wanted were in this set. So instead of buying them individually, I ended up just getting this set, which is the Mona Omrani set. And I'm gonna swatch that out for you guys as well. And then on top of that, Szmal have released 3 new colors, which are here, which I thought we might want to swatch together. So one is Titanium Brown, which is PBR 48. This one is Chromium Green Oxide Dark, which is PG 17. And this one is Cobalt Blue. Am I making this up? Is Cobalt Blue Light the other one that they added on? Which is PB 28. Let me know. I think it is. And then I got a few dark Rosa Gallery colors that I was also very, very curious about. So let's swatch these, and then it'll also be okay. Thank you, Miss Ebony. Hey, Miss Ebony. It'll be a good opportunity for me to show you guys how the Khadi Fatbook works as well, if you want to see. But yeah, it comes with a plastic sleeve and this cardboard box. Let me put this down. Are you ready? Let me bring this down a little bit. Sorry, it's going to get dizzy. Not dizzy, but move. Just so that you can see the colors a little bit better. It almost feels like we're coming full circle, because the last Fatbook that I had, I actually started it on a live stream. Like, I bought it, did an art haul, and then an art haul video, and then during that live stream, similar to this. Oh, interesting. Did this always start off as blue and then progressively get darker, or is it just changed? I think it might have changed. But anyway, in that video, I started off this book with swatches, and fast forward 6 months later, we're starting a second one with swatches too. Like, forgive me, I still am in the habit of skipping pages. I don't know why. Okay. I feel like, because I've never bought like the sets. I've always got the half pans and full pans. So it comes with a swatch card, which has the pigment information and is on Fabriano 5 paper, which is 50% watercolor paper, 50% cotton watercolor paper. I review skip pages all the time, especially the first ones. It always feels like such a big commitment to do something on my first page. I think, did I do something? This small one, I did something on the first page, which is very unlike me. And that was it was one of the Etchr challenges that they were doing. And the prompt that they had was your favorite art supplies. So instead of doing just my favorite art supplies, I actually drew out all the art supplies that I was using for that particular art trip to Brighton. I thought it'd be cute to look back on. So it's nice because it also has pigment information for us. Just looking for a fine liner. The one tricky thing of doing urban sketching is that I keep taking everything with me when I go out. And I don't have, as of yet, like 1/2 for in studio, 1/2 for outside studio. So I just end up always looking for my stuff. Here we are. I'm not going to lie. What swayed me was the Quin Magenta. That's what swayed me. This is, hey Sharmak, welcome. It is the Mona Omrani Roman Szmal watercolor palette. This is pretty. It's actually funny that I've never had one of their sets. So in terms of swatching it out, I'll do some quick leaves. It comes with a white, yeah, but what can we do? How many? 2, 4. More. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's do this, shall we? So what I tend to like doing, if my pen will agree, is just some small doodles that we can then paint over so that we can quickly see like their opacity, their transparency. It's also helpful like if you like doing urban sketching, for example, and then you do your ink first. This way you'll be able to see which colors are going to obscure your lines versus which colors are going to be transparent and not obscure your lines. Now, the kind of sketches that I do vary drastically depending on how I'm feeling in terms of complexity. If I had done this before the live stream, then maybe I would have done like little paint tubes or, like all that good stuff. However, because I'm doing this now on live, I'm just going to do very quick doodles. And what you do can vary. So some people will just do nothing, and that's fine if you don't care about opacity. Some people will do just a black line, and that will work just as well. Ideally, if you do it a bit thicker, then you have a bit of a better idea rather than just one, like literally one line. But I don't know, I feel like I like using this opportunity to draw a little, you know? But also I don't have to feel like super precious or attached to it because I know that there's a chance it's going to get completely covered and completely obscured. So again, no pressure, just doodle or do a line, whatever is going to work for you. And then if you do like drawing, this is a good opportunity to practice that, Yes, I agree, Perry. It's just nice, and it felt so good to be able to open up the set and see that they are all unwrapped in order and just ready to go. That is actually very, very satisfying. Adding berries to some of them. And then I also used to do I've done floral doodles, leaf doodles, I've done art supply doodles as well. So really and truly, the options are endless. Let's do some more. Use the fine liner on this paper. What kind of fine liner? So I was saying that with my fountain pens, I found that it picks up the paper a little bit. Like I'm still able to use them. I just have to then clean the nib. But with my fine liners, they've been okay. This is a 0.3 size. So it's slightly it's my medium size. But yeah, I agree that if I wanted to do just fine liner work, this would not be the sketchbook I would use. For that, I would probably just use the Royal Talons. These are very similar. As we do this, shall I say, I don't know, and you let me know if you know, but I've posted on my community tab to say that I'm taking a step back from YouTube. And if you don't know, now you know. My intention is still to do live streams from time to time, as you can see. And I'll be back when I'm back, kind of thing. I'm still continuing with my Ko-fi, so if you're a member, you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, this is a Unipen fine liner, but also maybe more so the size. I feel like a 0.1 would really struggle on this paper, whereas a 0.8 would be a bit better. And Almost done. I'm trying to think of different leaves and I don't know why. Why overcomplicate it? Let me just do the same ones. But yeah, so I posted it. It was interesting because the response was interesting. With some people being like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll be here when you're back," and other people being like, "How dare you take a break?" Um, yeah, basically, and whatnot, which was quite surprising. I really didn't think that that would even be a response. And they were in the vast majority. But it's like one of those things, like because it was so, I guess, jarring. It still kind of annoys me that people are so entitled. Hey, Jen. Yeah, that's what I thought. Honestly, there were the response. Yeah, I don't know what the thought process was behind that, but it was actually I do know. So I think they were more upset that I am taking a break from YouTube but continuing with my art membership. So they were saying how I'm maltreating YouTubers and I've forgotten where I came from, and YouTubers are who got me where I am, and just and I replied, kind of saying this is a very entitled view to have on one's time, and you know like, what are you saying, kind of thing. And she doubled down. I literally thought she'd be like, no, that's not, because the other person was like, no, that's, I understand, that's not what I meant, I'm just kind of sad that you're leaving, and kind of thing, kind of, I guess, took a step back from what they'd initially said. And the second person was like, no, basically, how dare you leave, was the general vibe. Yeah, no, I think that's the other thing. I think people don't fully understand that I'm not a full-time YouTuber. And I think that's, someone else was like, "Oh, I'm already getting paid for ads. Why would I leave?" kind of thing, kind of implying that, I'm doing this out of greed because the ads are paying enough. So how dare I leave? And I was like, the ads pay me £60 a month. That is not worth the 80 hours of editing alone that goes into making the videos. Like, if money was the factor, I would have left YouTube a very, very, very long time ago. But this is the first break I've had from YouTube in 3.5 years. Yeah, no, it's wild. It was just interesting. It was very interesting. I didn't think that anyone would say that. And I think especially because it wasn't, the people who were saying this weren't people that weren't, as in, they were trolling, but they weren't trolls. Do you know what I mean? They weren't people that I hadn't spoken to before or anything like that. There were people who had followed me for at least a year. And that's what they were saying. I was like, okay, I don't get it, but you do you. Let's start with the swatching. Hamrib, how dare you take a break from creating free content on YouTube and focus on saving people's lives? Yeah, I think hey, I think that's literally it. It wasn't making sense to me. It really wasn't making sense to me. I was like, and that's the thing with the other person who was like, "Oh, this is clearly being led by money." I was like, I think you forget that I'm actually a doctor. Like, £60 for 80 hours of my time doesn't make sense. It's not. It's not a. There's no, like, it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of the time people are like, "How do you do it? How do you do it?" I do it by not sleeping and not doing anything outside of work that isn't YouTube. So it's literally YouTube, work, sleep, and eat. That's it. And it's just not feasible. So this was titanium white, which is relatively opaque, as you can see. I can still see the line underneath, but we'll see how that goes when it dries. Then we have benzimidazole yellow, which is PY154. Just doing big, nice swatches. So it feels like, whoops, got overzealous with the swatch, I'm sorry. So it feels like a warmish yellow. We'll see. I always say that, and then I swatch something that's even warmer, and I'm like, oh, it's not that warm. This is nickel as a yellow. I feel like this palette just makes so much sense for me because I love PY150, which is what this is. I feel like the colors that she selected are the colors that I'm very much drawn to. So this is even warmer. So I guess this is the cool yellow in the set, but it's not like a lemon yellow. It's slightly warmer than that. Jenren. Thanks, Jenren. Honestly, it's I was so close to blocking, but then I was like, there's no point. Permanent yellow, PY139. This to me looks like an orange. Tell me if you agree. Rebecca. That's an interesting way to look at it. I hadn't thought about it. They're like, oh, how could you? And that's the thing. I think people are just more like, oh, how could you leave YouTube and continue your art membership? And I was like, one, they're not the same, and two, I can do what I like. Hey, Johnny's Bar. And I wanted to say hey to Blue Vert et Foy Depot. Welcome. I saw you. I was just in the middle of a rant when you joined. This color is permanent yellow, which is PY139. To me, it looks very orange, even when watered down. These two are touching, so let me just lift that. And then we have yellow ochre, PY43, which is here. Nice and consistent, a stable yellow, earthy yellow. We'll see if it granulates as well. I'm adding lots of water to all of them so that we can see what they're like. I'm going to put water down first on this one, maybe a few more as well, just to see how they behave. Because we have Cypress Burnt Umber. Oh yeah, just Cypress Burnt Umber, which is PBR7. I normally have Cypress Burnt Umber Deep. So we'll see. I think one of Roman Szmal's new colors from the previous release was benzimidazole brown. That I really liked. This burnt umber is a bit too cold for me. It feels a little bit more like I don't know, it's too cold. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not browny and rich enough for me. Hey, Danny G. Sketches at chipmunk speed. I understand. I watch YouTube on double speed. So, and also most like shows and whatnot, I watch them in double speed as well, which makes it interesting. One, when it's then normal speed, it feels so slow, but also their voices are completely different. I'm used to hearing them higher, so it's almost like I can't recognize their voices. This is, I don't know why I put in so many layers. I was kind of curious to see if it'd be more opaque. This is Aquarius Gray, PW61. Then let's go to the reds. We have Scarlet Red, which is PR166. This is pretty. It's funny because when I put it down, I thought it was quite like a warm red, but as I water it down, you can see it turns pinky. So it feels nice because it's quite versatile. You can have it be quite warm and almost like a lipstick red, and then you can water it down and have a pink, which isn't always the case. Let's see what else we have. Permanent Alizarin Crimson. I think PR176. This is actually one that I initially got. My very, very first set of Roman Szmal watercolors had this beautiful, beautiful color. And somewhere along the line, I then left it behind for Quin Magenta. Which we'll see. But this, I don't know, I'm kind of curious to see it next to Quin Magenta and see if I'm going back. Go back to Permanent Alizarin Crimson. Hey, Durwood, that was quick. Hope you enjoyed your meal. Terry. You watched them at half the speed. No, I don't know. Well, I guess I do think I talk faster than, like, in terms of like on the spectrum. I do think I talk faster because when I listen to myself on double speed, it feels a lot faster than listening to other people on double speed. A chicken sandwich. Nice. Who's Oh, I know. I was like, who's Emma L? It's like Lefave. This next color is Cherry Quin Red PR209. I haven't seen the palette that she made. This is nice. And this is so funny. And this is what I love about everything being relative. Because initially I was like, oh yeah, it's like a warm red. And then when you water it down, it's a pink. But when you have it next to these, you can see that this is really like a true pink. Do you know what I mean? That's why a lot of the time when we talk about warm versus cool, it is actually all relative to what else you have in your palette and what you have next to it as to how warm or cool something will look. This PR209 is pretty. Hey, the pen, you don't have to be sorry. The pen that I used is the Unipin fine liners. In honesty, I just got them because they lasted me as long as the microns and they were like half the price. So I was like, I can't justify spending that much on the microns. And they come in the same sizes, as in like, you know, the same sizes as microns and other fine liners. And this is Quin Magenta PR122. Jeez, this is bright. Almost looks fluorescent, no? It's not. Gosh. I feel like Mona and I have very similar styles. Not styles in terms of art. Our art is clearly completely different, but just in terms of colors that we're attracted to. And also, I'm kind of like, I let go of my Permanent Alizarin Crimson for my Quin Magenta, but actually they are completely different. And I kind of think I need to bring back Permanent Alizarin Crimson to my main palette. Thanks, David. We'll see. Next, we have Dioxazine Violet. Is this a mistake? It says Dioxazine Violet PV37. Isn't it normally PV23? Do you think that's a typo? Does anyone want to check what like on Jackson's or something, what Roman Szmal's Dioxazine Violet is? Because I've never seen a PV37 for it. It looks like Dioxazine Violet. Oh, then we have Shadow Grey. PV37 is also Dioxazine. Wild, not a typo. I did not know that. Then this is the first PV37 I've had. I just didn't notice. I always kind of assumed they were 23s. This is Shadow Violet, which is PG50, PB29, and PV19. And this is like a beautiful bluey grey. that also has hints of violet, but also it granulates really nicely. So I'm just going to add lots of water so that we can see what it will do. Good night, Nicole. Oh. Let's try that again. Okay, cool. Let me know if you can hear me. Sorry about that. Sometimes my headphones just decide to stop working. It's almost like they're like, "Oh, you're not using us, would turn off," but I am. This is Misty Morning, which is PG50 and PV19. Again, a really nice granulating color that's quite unique. Gosh, you're gonna see Shadow Violet, so pretty. This is all good to know. Good morning, Janina. Wow, you're an early bird. You like the purple? It is really nice. It feels less dark than the PV23 Dioxazine Violet. Like it's pinker, but it's nice. Then we have Lavender, which is PW6, PB29, PV16. And look at that. Really nice and pretty lavender color. After I swatch out this set, I'll also swatch out their new colors so that we can have a look at them. This is cobalt blue. So I wonder what. Anyway, this is cobalt blue, PB28. This looks like ultramarine ish. Maybe a bit lighter. Lavender is so pretty. You like it more than Misty Morning. We'll see. I feel like they're completely different though, because Misty Morning is just like it just granulates so nicely, whereas lavender is like a nice, soft, calm, non-granulating, opaque-ish color. Then we have Ultramarine Intense, which is PB29. Okay, I take back what I said about it looking like ultramarine. This ultramarine is really nice. It's like I'm bumping everything into everything. Never got a Misty Morning to do its magic. Just sits on the page. That's the thing, to be honest, that I also struggle with some of the, really pretty, more novel granulating colors, because it's like, how am I supposed to use you? you know, unless I'm doing something like really abstract, how am I using them? And I think for like at the moment, the way that I'm using them is like in backgrounds, and I guess when I'm doing my abstract florals. But it's not just you, because it's almost like you look at them on their own and it's almost like the swatch is the work of art. Does that make sense? Hold on. A little bump turned into a big bump. Oh, I'm just making a whole hot mess here. Okay, so this color that I swatched silently is actually phthalo blue green shade, which is PB15-3. Then we have indigo hue, which is PB60 and PBK7. So it's like in Danthrone blue and black. And it is nice. Coolish blue. Nice for greens. But I reckon you'd still get some moody purples with it. Oh, Misty Morning makes perfect sky on a moody seascape and landscapes. We'll try that. That's a good question, Danny. What does everyone else do? I keep my... So I keep... Well, I've kept my grey on. It fell off. This isn't that I tore it off initially, intentionally. Sorry, it ripped when I threw it haphazardly into my sketchbook, into my bag. But what I was planning to do is make a cover for it, just to protect it a little bit, because it does sometimes, like, you know, it's also exposed. But I would normally just leave it on. Like, my intention is to leave it on and then to add a cover on top of it. Oh yeah. See, that's what I should have done before I started throwing it into my bag, which I did not do. Then let's go to, this is Payne's Grey, which is PBK9, PB27, and PR264. It's really nice. But I've slowly started leaning more towards dark blues over Payne's Grey, and I think this isn't like the bluest of blue leaning Payne's Greys. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a little bit more neutral. Like, it's bluish. It's bluish, but not that blue. Delwood, maybe that's why they have additional pages, honestly, because they're like, yeah, this front page isn't going to make it the way people use it. I don't know, I like the idea of making like a hard case for it, so that it's a case, like, you know, so it looks like a proper sketchbook, hardback sketchbook. This is Aquarius Green. I love this beauty. I love it because it just feels like the kind of color when I'm doing foliage or anything where I don't have to work for the magic to happen. I just have to lay it down. It granulates. It has nice tonal range, and then it's like bam, just done. You know, it's like a really nice natural looking green. And I'll raise this all up so that you guys can get a bit of a better look. Yeah, no, I leave it on. Then we have Permanent Green Light, which is PY154 and PG7. This is, oddly enough, not the kind of green I tend to use, like super bright, because of that cheeky PG7 in there. It's like a spring green. Then we have Hooker's Green, which is actually the green that I use as my sap green. I find that Roman Szmal's sap green is, I think it has PG7. I can't remember what it has in it, but I feel like it's not the kind of sap green that I like. And this Hooker's Green is the kind of sap green that I like. It's beautiful. It goes on, like, it can go on really nice and dark, but then you can also lighten it up. It looks natural. This to me is what sap green should look like. Then we have and sorry, that's PY150 and PB27. So that's the only downside, that it has you know, Prussian blue in it, but still it's too pretty for me to let go. So this is what I'm using for now. And this is the color that, second to magenta, this is the color I use most. Then we have phthalo green blue shade, PG7. This is a color that I didn't really use much, and still now, I guess I don't really use that much, but I've come to appreciate and respect it because of the different mixes that it will give me. From like really nice, interesting blacks to stunning purples. I still can't quite understand why I can get purples with it, but I can. Good night, Michelle. I'm glad you got home safe. Durwood, which screen were you talking about? And this is Blue Ridge Burnt Sienna, which is PBR7. Yeah, this is nice. I don't know what's going on with that burnt umber, but it's just desaturated. But this is pretty. Then we have sepia, and it is PBR7 and PBK9. Oh, this is nice. This is like what I would expect the burnt umber to be. What do they do? Do you know what I mean? Isn't this what you would expect? This over this is what I would expect for burnt umber. Yeah. This is the hooker's green right here. And then we have neutral tint, which is PB60, PBK6, and PB19. This is nice. And also, as the Payne's Grey is starting to dry, that's also starting to look really nice. You can see I was overzealous with the water because they're still wet. And then here we have Aquarius Black, which is PBK11, and I am okay, cool. There was one live stream that I did, and I think it was PBK11 that I was trying to swatch, and it just would not reactivate. Like I had to bring out a big brush, and it's almost like it had a film that wouldn't allow me to reactivate it. So when I saw it again, I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. But I stand corrected because it's reactivated. Do it. That's what I just said, Tabitha. I completely agree. I don't know with Cyprus raw. Oh, pardon me, Cyprus raw umber. I was like, why does this burnt umber look like a raw umber? That's why it is a raw umber. I stand corrected. My bad. That's why I don't like it. Hey, Melanie. Yeah, I know. It's don't worry, it's super late here too. I just honestly I can't sleep. It takes me like 2 weeks to flip back, and in that 2 weeks it's unpleasant. Because life must still go on. The rest of the world is not nocturnal, but I just can't switch back. Let me show. Oh gosh, look at that shadow violet right here. Can you see? When you put it on, it looks like a very unassuming, kind of boring color. And then when it starts to dry, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. This is Misty Morning next to it. Does that sepia granulate? Yeah. It's looking like it's granulating, but with the Khadi Fatbook, it's always better to let it dry completely, and then we will know, because it's almost like everything looks like it's granulating until it's actually dry, and then all of a sudden you can get a bit of a better sense of it. We've been doing this game on Ko-fi where we where we have the swatches like this, for example, and I'd say Roman Szmal, and then people have to guess what the colors are because it doesn't have any labels. So I will take, I'll probably come back and take like a screenshot of this so that we can do that, because I feel like it would probably be helpful for you if I labeled it. For now, I will just put the names, and then we can swatch together the new ones that have come out. Actually, it's going to be tricky to put the names in because they are all still wet. So I'll probably just do the bottom ones. Aquarius black. Yeah, this is the thing that I was quite surprised. It was actually quite fine. The very first time, like when I bought the actual half pan, I couldn't reactivate it. Do you remember? Like I had to bring out my hard mixed media brush and I was swatching away. But with this, it literally just reactivated straight away. I don't know how or why, but I'm grateful. The film is gone. I don't know if it's because I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm just checking to. But I had that very same, yeah, I've had that as well. Let's swatch out these colors. These 3 new Roman Szmal colors. Oh no. Tell me, do you keep the labels or get rid of them? I keep keeping them, but it's about that time where I'm probably gonna have to move again soon. So now I'm literally looking at everything like weight, you know. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Well, I didn't know if it was more so it reacting or just, I don't know. Maybe it's because when it comes like this, it has this waxy film, and maybe it's the film from this that's attaching to the half pan, and that's what wasn't coming off. Like, can you see how there are 2 different textures? Maybe that hard film is what is happening. But yeah, I've never had anything like that. It was really bizarre. Whereas this one is just open. Do, 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 do. This is titanium brown, and then this is cobalt blue light. Okay. I kind of mentioned this already in past videos, but I've got into the habit of just buying full pans, and because Roman Szmal watercolors they're like a nice consistency in that they are soft enough that you can just use a palette knife, as you can see I've done with this one, to dig in half it and then add it to a half pan rather than buying the half pans. It's just a nice way to save money where we can, you know. Let's swatch these. Oh, yeah, sorry. If you're asking me a question, believe it or not, I'm a moderator for Christy Rice, um, which has been so interesting. It's so nice just jamming in the chat. But yeah, if you ask a question, please, if you put like question in caps beforehand, then I can see it more easily. Otherwise, I miss it, and I'm so sorry. Every so at some point I will stop and then go back on the comments to make sure I haven't missed it. But I am not the type to ignore anyone. So if I haven't responded to you, it is just because I haven't seen it yet. This is the titanium brown. Should we do the doodle underneath just for consistency? Oh, you asked me 3 times. What did I miss? I'm sorry. What did I miss? Oh my gosh. Oh, Miss Ebony is asking if I will put the swatch sheet on Discord. Yeah, yeah, of course. I thought you were asking Durwood. I saw that before. I thought you were asking Durwood. That's why I was talking about how we were playing that game and how I'll probably do a screenshot before adding the labels and add it. My bad. But yeah, if anyone else has any questions, please just put like question in bold beforehand so that I can see it and I won't miss it. So this is the titanium brown, which is PBR 48. It is not on screen. It is 8 out of 8 light fastness, medium staining, granulating, and semi-opaque. That's like it's really nice. It's almost like a raw sienna. But a bit more golden, a bit more yellow. So this is raw sienna here. I want to say. No, that's yellow ochre. My bad. So it's almost like a raw sienna in my mind. But it's pretty. Then we have cobalt blue light. Oh, I see, Miss Ebony. I understand. My bad. I misunderstood. I thought you and Durwood were chatting. I didn't realize you were both asking me the same thing. This is Cobalt Blue Light PB28. This is nice. I'm always in search of these kind of blues with the hope that they don't granulate as much so that I can make them the perfect sky blue. This is going to granulate, but that's the thought that came to mind when I saw it. That it's a beautiful blue. And then we have this super long name, which is Chromium Green Oxide Dark. Oh, very granulating. Also, can you see what's going on here with the Aquarius green? I'll show you in a second. Beautiful. This is nice. It's cooler. It's like a cool, natural looking mossy green almost. That's granulating a lot, like a lot. As soon as I put it down on the paper. Let's see what it says. It says it is PG17. No way. This is non-granulating. Okay, let's see. Because this to me looks very granulating. We'll see when it dries. PG17, non-staining, non-granulating, semi-opaque. And then the cobalt blue light was... Oh, man. Did I tear this apart? I did indeed. Just looking for the piece of paper with the pigment information. How did I tear off and lose the most peaceful part of that label? If anyone has it to hand, has Jackson's to hand open, if you don't mind checking for me. I don't understand how I did that. See? Tore it off completely. I feel like it was PB28, but it's good to confirm these things, you know? How can someone have unopened colors? Janina, you'd be surprised. Thank you, David. Always there to help me. I appreciate it. 87 unopened. Well, I'm so behind on the chat. Yeah, exactly. Almost cerulean. It's really pretty. Look at yours. For those wondering, when we say Asher, it's kind of like a joke that we have amongst ourselves called Art Supply Hoarders Anonymous. So this is titanium brown. Trying not to get my hand wet. So I'm writing in a really weird way. PBR 48. Has anyone seen this pigment elsewhere? Because I haven't. But I'm not that in tune with the earth colors. I know, honestly, Roman Szmal's lineup is crazy. And the thing that I find interesting is that when I swatch out his colors, like, yeah, there might be some colors that are somewhat similar, but it's almost like, I don't know, like, I don't feel like it's because I think now he has over 200 colors. I don't feel like there are over 200 colors that look the same. They are all so different. Like, even when I look at this palette and it's like so many different colors, and I don't know how he does it. Like, I'll be like, yeah, this is pinky. And then I swatch this. I'm like, no, this is pinky. I was like, no, this is pinkier. No, this is the pinkiest. It's like, I don't know how that happens. Chromium green oxide dark. And it's funny because it's like almost like I didn't know I was missing a color until he releases a new color. And then I'm like, I can't believe I never had this color before. PG 17. And then this is cobalt blue light. PB 28. Yeah, art supply hoarders anonymous. We not association. The Aquarius, you find the Aquarius grey to be a lot darker. Oh, the only PBR 48 out there. Welcome to the group, Tabitha. Honestly, I don't know how he does it, and he's a chemist, you know. Maybe that's how he does it. In terms of he's taking a different approach to it to others. I'm just going to bring out my oops. Oh no, dropped them all on the floor. These are my other swatches. I just wanted to see the grey that you were mentioning. Okay, this is the Aquarius grey from before. Who was talking about Aquarius grey? Terry, that is so true. No, the reason I have a lot of unopened colors is that it's almost like the buying the art supplies provides an immense release of dopamine, like joy. And then the opening also does. So I'll quite a lot of the time buy art supplies and feel really happy about it. And then it's almost like I'm trying to spread that joy. So I won't open them until I do something that I've been putting off, or like, I use it as a reward or a treat. They're two separate rewards. Oh, good. What are you painting, Habib? I love, love, love your painting, Samham. I know speed is debatable. I'm not gonna lie, they do spoil me though, because if I go over a certain threshold, I do get next day delivery if I order before 2 p.m. But just to show you, I can't remember. I feel like I read a comment where someone was asking about Aquarius Grey in the past versus Aquarius Grey now. And these are my two. So this is a swatch from before, and this is the swatch that I just did now from the set. And I feel like they're quite similar. Maybe this is a little bit darker, but equally I didn't do it as a wash here. I just did it as like one clear. So I don't think it's changed. But yeah, I've got like all these swatch cards that I created on 100% cotton watercolor paper, thanks to Astroglio, because she was like, it was hurting her that I was doing all these swatches on cellulose paper. So she bought me 100% cotton watercolor paper specifically for swatching. This were the new 2023 colors. So what brown was I talking about? Natural umber reddish, I think, and benzimidazole. Where are you? Yeah, and benzimidazole brown. These two browns I really, really like. Oh, you've been painting more flowers. That's so awesome. I've bought myself some flowers again. Slowly, I don't know. It's kind of like become a little bit of a habit, but it's more so because I bought peonies that were like I think last week or 2 weeks ago. I bought peonies basically, and they were on their last day, like the sell by date. So I bought them and they were closed. And the next day they were like massive and open. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that peonies were like this. And it's funny because I've created a peony drawing guide and I've drawn plenty of peonies and I have seen plenty of references of peonies, but this is the first time that I actually bought and had peonies. And then it occurred to me, one, I absolutely love them. They're so beautiful. But two, they have a very short time where they are here in season. Yeah. So as a result of that, I was like, you know what? Given that they're only in season for a few weeks, I'm just going to buy them for these few weeks because they're not going to be here again all year. Let me make the most of it. And I went to Lidl and I bought these. Oh, you can't really see them because of the light. But yeah, I bought these peonies and they were £8, £4 each. And they're just so beautiful. I hope you can see them. Hold on. Can you? And they just open up so massively, which I never fully appreciated. It's sad though, because they don't last long. So the petals are already starting to fall out, especially of the pink ones. But I'm going to keep them. It was bittersweet because the other one that I had at first was like, well, it was red as opposed to like this kind of pinky color. But anyway, the ones that I had at first, not only they opened up really quickly, they lost their petals quite quickly. So it was always bittersweet coming into my studio because there's something so romantic about having the vase with like petals surrounding it. But then it was also kind of sad because I was like, oh, they're not going to last. But they're just so, so pretty. And yeah, I bought them from like a budget shop. Hence why they were. Oh, did you see all those petals fall? Hence why they were the pink. They were £4 each, and I bought 2 bundles so that I could make one big bouquet for myself. Sometimes we just gotta treat ourselves, you know. Hey Anna, petty artist. You know, it's so funny you asked that because I haven't tried them. And as Derwood will know, I I get asked about them a lot. So I reached out to them to kind of say, hey, I get asked about you guys a lot, but they're not easy to get in the UK. Um, and I've only tried a small amount of them, thankfully, because Renee, one of my Kofi members, had sent me some dot cards that she'd like made up of some of her favorite colors. So I don't know. I haven't tried them yet, but I want to try them because I feel like a lot of people ask me about them. And when I talk about brands, I automatically forget them and leave them out because I haven't used them like properly or a lot. So they never kind of come at forefront of mind. But I would like to try them and then be able to actually cast an opinion. Um, Yeah, I know. Normally, I feel bad, and not even normally. I do feel bad when they water away, and I keep them way longer than I should. But then once they're dead, I throw them away. What else can I do? When they're here, oddly enough, I haven't like I've sketched. Actually, I've sketched each bouquet that I've had, and I've painted a few of them. I think there's just something so nice about having them there. But yeah, it's not nice that they wilt and their petals fall. Mm, what am I missing? Yeah, I do think he has a very unique way of approaching colors. And I don't have titanium gray. I'm not usually drawn to light grays, light cool grays. You have to swatch them before you use them. It's funny because I find that once I swatch them, I really do lower the barrier to entry and then I start using them a lot more. The longer I reserve the art supply, the I guess less likely I'm going to use them sounds a bit harsh, but as in it's going to take me a while for me to use them. So, for example, now that I have unpacked this Khadi Fatbook and swatched in it, if I want to create today, tomorrow, I can easily grab this. But if this was still in the packaging, it would take me forever. Equally, that now that this has that I've opened the palette, I will be more inclined and more in tune to just use it straight away rather than waiting. And I think also it'll be interesting to see because it's tricky. I'll have more colors to swatch, by the way, the Rosa Gallery colors. But it's tricky and it's interesting because now when I get supplies, or when I over the past couple of years, when I got supplies, automatically I was like, I can't use them. I need to record them for YouTube before I can. So there was always like a bit of a delay between when I get supplies and when I use them. But now that I'm not recording for YouTube, I'm like, do I just use them? Or do I record them just in case? Or like, what do I do? It's just recalibrating is going to be interesting. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. That's very kind of you. And please, if I've missed your question, just ask it again, but this time have like question in bold at the front because it's easy for me to miss questions, especially if the chat goes fast. So it was indeed the peonies. I've got a free peony drawing guide that's on my Ko-fi, free for everyone if you're interested. So I've always like enjoyed drawing peonies. And for this, I just did, I don't know, I think if you look at my florals back in the day, they were initially just micron unipin fine liner drawings. And then they became fine liner and watercolor, and then they just became watercolor. And this was kind of like taking a step back and doing fine liner first and then watercolor. And I actually did. So that was not this set of peonies, but the set of peonies before that were just beautiful. And I actually created a reference guide that's full of the pictures. I took, I'm ashamed to say, like 100, and not by like, I know it was like 105 pictures of this bouquet, different angles that looked so different to me at the time. And then when I was putting together this reference, I'm like, everyone's going to think I'm crazy if it has 100 pictures. So I didn't put all of them inside, but I took so many pictures of this bouquet. It's because every day that I walked in, it looked completely different because, petals had fallen, and you look at it at a different angle or you arrange it in a different way. It was actually quite nice. It's funny because the first bouquet that I had bought was part of an art vlog that I was recording that was going to be for Kofi. We'll see if I edit it. But in that art vlog, I was arranging the florals because I bought like lots of different flowers and I put them together. And then from there, I started drawing it, and I was still like, checking in day to day. And then eventually the florals died, and it happened to coincide with the end of the vlog. And the vlog kind of ended with me buying new flowers. So I kind of liked that, and then I kept getting more flowers and more flowers. But anyway, this was the other one that I did. So this was the bouquet that I had put together myself with lots of different elements. And again, it was using ink and watercolor, which I haven't done in a little while, but I actually want to go back to and try that again. Change the water every day. Well, then that's where I've clearly been going wrong. Thank you, Terry. I normally just top up the water, but that is really helpful to know. Mm. Danny G, you are in very, very, very good company. What? Good morning, Danielle. I am catching up on the chat. Swatch and do mixes right away. Yeah, I find that if I use them straight away, I'm more likely to just keep on using them. I think like even the tempera sticks, for example, I got them, they're children's art supplies. I started using them straight away. And as a result, I'm going to use them in these. Hold on. Where did I use them? Oh, I used them in my other sketchbook. And I think I did one piece in this sketchbook with them. Where is it? I love it. If you are part of my mailing list, which by the way is linked down below, and I recommend you join it so that when I do decide to come back to YouTube, people like, if I do plan on returning, it's just a break. But when I do return, I will send out an email so you won't miss it, because you can't trust the algorithms, especially given that I'm not going to be posting as much. Oh, yeah. So I use the tempera sticks here. Love it. And I just use them all over. So, whether I'm doing swatches or whether I'm creating, like, I love this painting so much. I can't explain why. I think it's like all the textures in the rocks. I have posted it everywhere, on my YouTube, on my Instagram, on my Ko-fi, on my mailing list. This piece has been everywhere because I'm like, I love it so much. And it was something that I did in our last live stream. But yeah, if I get something and I use it straight away, then I find that that I keep using it and I use it a lot. Same for like the artist pit pens. If I get something and then it takes me a while to start using them, then it means that it kind of stays in pristine condition until I find myself to be in that exact mood. Aspirin. Yeah, someone told me paracetamol. That is so good to know. Thank you. I'm going to change the water before I go to sleep. Flowers are fun indeed. Oh, that's so good, Rebecca. I'm so glad that you got it and that you're enjoying it. It's funny because I created it a while back, but even now it's one of like my most like, it's still really popular. even without me talking about it, it's like every few days someone downloads it or buys it. I say downloads or buys it because it's available for free, but on Ko-fi you have the feature where you can opt to pay for it if you want, and people do both. These are some of the Rosa Gallery colors that I got. So let's do some swatches of these as well. This is Cobalt Turquoise. Lazy person swatches. I wasn't intending on doing blues first, but I guess here we are. Then this is turquoise. So Cobalt Turquoise, is it PB28? Yes, PB28. And Just Turquoise is PB15 and PG7. Which is basically phthalo blue and phthalo green. And I find it so funny because there are quite a common set of pigments. Like when you buy cheap or student grade or any kind of paints, they usually have phthalos in there because they're like super bright and synthetic. But when you mix them together, you can get some really, really nice mixes that I think people don't know. This is Ultramarine Spectral. And I think I was just curious as to what spectral means. And we shall find out. And then we have, I should have spaced these out a bit more. Then we have Azure Blue, which is Azure Blue is PG26. Hold on. Is PG26. PB15-3. What's PG26, guys? Nothing comes to mind. And PBK7. And then we have Jade Green, which I've actually swatched out before, but I only had it as a half pan and I wanted it as the tube. And then this is Azure Green. So let's do Azure Green. And Azure Green is PB15 and PG17. Should be interesting. And it's a granulating color. And then this is Jade Green. And it is, I'll look up in a second, I promise. PB28. What? That's interesting. PB28. PBK7. And PY42. So, with Cobalt Green, PG26, is it? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Yes, Danielle, it will be. Unless I say something wild, in which case. But I'm not anticipating it. And then All Blues, Jade Green, and Cobalt Grey are two of your most beloved moody colors. Oh, for moody landscapes. As you can see, I don't tend to use Cobalt Green. I was like, PG26. What? So, when it comes to pigment names and things, because I don't know if everyone watching is an expert like Durwood and Janina and lots of others. I don't think is necessarily, a must that you learn pigment names, pigment numbers, or anything like that. However, I do think it can be quite helpful when in like learning it and having an idea about different pigment um, names and what they mean and what they do. And I've made a video talking about it in more detail. I think it's something like a 30-minute video. And honestly, after that, I think you will have the grand basics on what I think would be helpful to know. And why is it helpful? I think it's helpful because it then means when you get colors like this, for example, or when you get colors like the schminke super granulating or other colors like that, if you know the color, like if you understand the pigments, you have a bit of a better idea of what colors are actually in there. And then you have an idea and understanding of the colors that you already have. And you are better able to either mix them up yourself or just know that you already have it. And then I feel like it also gets rid of some of the confusion that comes from brands giving their colors completely random names. And it also means that you don't, like, say, for example, if I wanted to buy a color that's PB29, which is ultramarine blue, right? And if a brand had it at a ridiculously high price, I would know that that wouldn't necessarily make sense because I know the pigment and I know like the price range of the pigment. I know it's relatively affordable, and that would be the case. Whereas if you didn't know, then you might be like, they might give it this super fancy name and then they charge you a ridiculous amount, and it's not actually um, anything other than a color that's commonly widely available. Good night, Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Everyone should have one every few years. I agree. I agree. I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending on where you are and what time it is. This is Cobalt Turquoise. Beautiful sky blue, as always. Yeah, exactly, Deborah. I agree. And then you also know the recipe. So you know how to make these, like this, for example. You know how to make this beautiful color by just mixing phthalo blue and phthalo green, both of which usually come in quite a few sets. Like even the Mona Amrani set that we swatched out has both of these colors in there. So by mixing these two, you'd be able to make this color. And I feel like it just gives you extra information so that you're able to make decisions. This is ultramarine spectral. I don't really know what this means. Part of me was wondering whether it would sparkle or have some sort of special quality. I'm not seeing anything other than it being ultramarine blue, but we'll see. Oh, that's such a good question, Ham. It's ridiculous o'clock for me. It's 5:30 in the morning. Sigh. This is Azure Blue. It's only sigh because it's like, what do I do? Do I try and stay awake for the whole day, which is what I keep doing, so that I can, because I'm working the weekend, I'm on call on the weekend? Or do I just go to sleep, except I'm nocturnal, and wake up at a ridiculous o'clock? Yeah, so I thought Spectrum, I don't know, to be honest, Winsor Newton does do that, but this says spectral. Do they mean spectrum? I don't know if you can see it. This is Azure Blue. This right here looks beautiful and it's starting to granulate as well. Let's see. Azure Green. This almost reminds me of almost, not quite, but almost reminds me of Daniel Smith Christmas Tree Green. Do you remember the pine scented green? I know, Terry. But I was literally like, you know what? I'm not going to sleep, so I can either just lay in bed, I can watch TV, I can be unproductive, or I could come and live stream and we could hang out together. This doesn't look like the jade green I'd swatched before, so let me add some more. Honestly, I think Rosa is another. Oh, that's a nice accidental mix there. I think Rosa just has some really nice mixes as well, and they're so affordable. I'm part of me is like scared because I'm always like, what happened with Roman Szmal is gonna happen with Rosa Canary. Where are we gonna be like, it's such a crazy price. I can't believe it's so affordable. And then like fast forward 2 years later, they catch up with everyone else. So I'm almost like I shouldn't say it too much. Yeah, ham. I do most of my live streams at night. Almost all of them actually. It's quite rare for me to do them in the morning because I'm not a morning person. So I'm not talkative in the morning. And I feel like if I were to come, I know that it's the morning now, but it feels like the night for me. But if I were to do a live stream in the morning with me just being quiet, you guys would think something was very wrong. And I also just, yeah. And then also, I kind of feel like most of you, well, I guess some of you would be fine with the time zone, but I almost feel like because most people who watch me in the US, if I do it in the morning, they'll be asleep. Sprinkle some water onto the jade green. I'll make it bigger. It's giving perlin green. It's yeah, but it's gonna granulate more. It's gonna change. It doesn't normally just look like that. Standard. But yeah, like this, maybe that's what they also mean. This azure blue, very, very pretty. It almost reminds me of Roman Szmal's ocean blue, but we'll see when it dries. I want to turn this around without messing everything up. I just wanted to show you the colors a bit closer so that you can have a good look. So we have, hold on, I'll read them out to you as well. So we start off with titanium white, and then as you can see the pen underneath. Not completely, it's still a little bit obscured, but it's still definitely there. Then we have benzimidazole yellow. Oops, benzimidazole yellow, then nickel azo yellow, PY150, permanent yellow, PY139, which looks orange to me. Doesn't like as orange can be. Like anyway. Then we have yellow ochre, PY43. We then have Cyprus raw umber, PBR7. Sorry, I'd said it was burnt umber initially. Then we have Aquarius Grey, PW6. It looks a bit, okay, it looks more like this. I feel like when I held it close, the shadow of the phone got on it, so it looks darker than it is, but it looks closer to this color here. Then we have Titanium Brown, which is beautiful. It looks like what I would want this color to look like. And that's PBR48, one and only thus far. Then we have over here Scarlet Red. Whoops, sorry. Scarlet Red, which is PR166. Permanent Alizarin Crimson next to it. Little dark horse that I'd left behind, PR176. I wonder if I felt like, is the light fastness 7 out of 8? Maybe that's why I stopped using it as much. Then we have Cherry Quinn Red, PR209. Nice and pink. Then we have Quinn Magenta, PR122. Super electrifying force. We have Dioxazine Violet, PV37, my one and only. Shadow Violet. Can you see that? Do you remember how like boringly bland grey it was initially. And look at it now with those actual bits of violet and blues popping out. I hope you can see it. So that's the one that has PG50, PB29, and PV19. Then Misty Morning next to it. Beautiful with PG50 and PB19. And then we have the Cobalt Blue Light, which is one of the new Roman Szmal colors. I don't know what they were saying before about it not granulating. Then Lavender over here, PW6, PB29, and PV16. It is actually granulating. Can you see? I didn't think it would. Cobalt Blue, PB28. Ultramarine Blue Intense, PB29. Phthalo Blue, PB15.3. Indigo, beautiful. PB60 and PBK7. Ignore the green splotches that I dropped on them by accident. Payne's Grey, PBK9, PB27, PR264, and Aquarius Green. Can you see how, like, by just laying it down and doing nothing, we've got like some really dark bits, we've got some yellows, we've got like almost a brown ring. Just beautiful. Then Chromium Green Dark Oxide, which is the new Roman Szmal color, PG17. I mean, to me, this is granulating. To each their own. Last row, you ready? Oh no. Last row. Okay. I'm doing this as well so that if you wanted to look back on the replay, you'd be able to, and you can freeze on a color that you like. So Permanent Green Light, PY154 and PG7. Hooker's Green, which I love, PY150 and PB27. Phthalo Green, which is PG7. See, so I told you these two included in the set. Blue Ridge Burnt Sienna, PBR7. Lovely. Sepia, PBR7 and PBK9. Wonderful. Which is, I guess, our equivalent of Burnt Umber in this set. Neutral Tint, PBK, PB60, PBK6, and PB19. And then Aquarius Black, PBK11, which actually activated and granulates quite a lot. I made a video where I was talking about making your own granulating colors, and it was in there I was kind of talking a little bit more about, you know, looking at the pigment numbers and figuring out and making them yourself. And PBK11 was actually a really helpful color to have. Quite a lot of the super granulating colors had PBK11. Another helpful color was like, so the formula that I devised was basically having a granulating color such as ultramarine, Mars black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and a bright, highly staining color like a phthalo or quinacridone. Mix them together, beautiful colors. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that this is inspiring you to to do some swatches in your fat book and sketching, whichever one you're doing. Yeah, this azure blue is really drying in a nice way. We'll see once it's completely dry, we'll have a bit of a better idea of what they are doing, what they look like. If I missed a question or something, sorry, that's a good point, David. Just repeat it, but this time put question at the front in caps so that I can see it and I won't miss it. I'm sorry, I do feel like I missed quite a few comments. I'm trying. In practice, is a slightly cooler buff titanium. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, I would say that's true. Sometimes it is also screen dependent. So on my screen, it looks accurate, but how you describe it is how I would describe it, like a slightly grayer buff titanium. I think that's all the supplies that I that I bought. I was going to I was going to do a painting, but it feels a bit wild to start painting 2 hours into a live stream. Nothing we haven't done before. I really like this set. I'm really glad I got it. And I have Derwood to thank for that, because I was looking at all the colors one by one by one by one. And then Derwood pointed out that actually, if the majority of the colors I want are in a set, it would just make more sense to buy the set. And a lot of the colors that I wanted were in the set. Mona Umrani and I seem to have similar color tastes. And then also, I get a pretty tin. Yeah, that's I don't know why, I don't know how, but that's what I found. And again, I think that video again was probably half an hour, a bit longer, and it was just me trying to recreate, looking at those pigment numbers and trying to recreate super granulating colors, and seeing where it went. So I initially did the mixes from the actual tubes that I had, and then mixes from tubes that perhaps I didn't have but I was kind of curious about, and then random mixes to see what kind of colors I could make. And some of them were good, others were interesting. Not necessarily good, but definitely interesting. So can't complain. Just looking to see if I could find a reference, but maybe what I'll do is just some florals. Let me see. I should have maybe done the other swatch card. What colors should we use? I'm kind of feeling Shadow Violet. Maybe like a purpley kind of. It's always interesting because when I start getting purple, let's do purples, pinks, that kind of vibe. I was looking for references, but why overcomplicate matters? There's no need. Danny. Yeah, honestly. This green here is Azure green. Azure green, which is PB15 and PG17. Oh, I think the Pasqualino one is the one that I wanted initially, but then I saw it had no. No, actually, there were 3 sets that I was contemplating. One was, I think, the botanical set, something like that. I think I showed you, David, and I think that was sold out. And then the second one was Pasqualino, but it didn't come with a tin. And then this one was the third one. So I was umming and ahhing about the 3 before I realized that one was sold out. And then in the end, I was like, you know what? I like the colors. It comes with the tin. Let me just get this one. And I am glad I did. It's still very much my intention. In fact, I wrote out the names and everything to do at some point, who knows, to do a video where I swatch out the different sets. Because obviously I have all the colors, and then just have them side by side. Thus far, I think I've only swatched out the Jane Blundell and obviously now the Mona Umrani ones. But yeah, I think the Pascal, I think that's the set I'm thinking of. It looked very nice. It's just oh yeah, this crossover is just the lack of the tin that swayed me from one to the other in the end. I don't know if this color scheme is going to is going to make sense, but just, you know, bear with me, you know. It feels funny because most of these colors are, apart from the brand new ones, it's just me replacing colors that I have and I've just run out of. Good night, Sharmak. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm glad you got to use your Fatbook. Let's stay together, loving you weather through the good, bad, happy or sad. So in love with you. But yeah, I can't believe I didn't realize that this was a completely different pigment to the ones that I use normally. That's why I'm kind of curiously using it. You want me to. It's alright with me. This is the Shadow Violet. Do you see what I mean? When you lay it down, you're like, ew, what is that? And then it starts to change, and it's like, whoa, where did that come from? You make me feel. And then some Hooker's Green. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. The other thing that we're doing on Ko-fi, and if you haven't seen it, check out not the last post, but the post before that, in terms of on my Ko-fi, not on YouTube. We're putting together a favorites palette. So if you haven't already done so, just add your favorite colors into that Google form. I'll look through it and then I'll put together a video about our favorite colors, and then I think I'll put it together as a palette and I'll send that as Happy Mail so that we'll have, I don't know, I think it's cute. It'll be a cute way for everyone to kind of share their favorite colors. So rather than saying blue, for example, or just a brand, put down like, I don't know, if it's ultramarine blue, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? But if you just put blue, as we have seen, there are many different kinds. And then I'll take a look and I will, whoopsie. Okay, I'll let that go. I'll put that together. Let's just stay together. Loving you weather through the good, bad, happy or sad. I'm always so glad when I do live streams. I don't know. I feel energized after them. It's probably not what one wants to do when they're trying to sleep. But there's just something so nice about being able to sit with good people, chat art supplies, and swatch the day away, you know? Do you guys have many art friends in real life? Because I have none. As in, like, you know, face to face. I think that's you know, part of the reason that it took me so long to take a break on YouTube, because I was like, don't want to let go of this community. There are, you know, there are good sides to being on YouTube. Just wanted to see how these colors played around together. Every the good, bad, happy or sad. Some of it accident, some of it intentional. I do think I don't utilize shadow violet enough though, especially as I'm doing this. So in love with you. Janina, you have one colleague who's an art friend, but doing acrylics and can't obsess over any pigment. You'd go on well with David. Oh, you're in a small ladies group. That sounds so cute. Danny, no, it's full. The Happy Mail tier is full. That being said, if you want to join, I can open it up. I try to limit it, but equally, if you want to join, I can open it up. I think yeah. As in, not I think. I know that I can open it up. I was just thinking about how many people are in there already. Oh, I thought it disappeared for a second. As in, like, I thought my live stream closed. Da, 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 da. It's funny because initially I only wanted my Ko-fi to have one tier. And then I really wanted to do this dot cards. I don't know. I enjoy them. I feel like it's fun, but also with the Happy Mail tier, there are more Zooms and more live sessions, like more live elements. So then I wanted to do that, but then I know some people want the live, like want all the live elements, but don't want the dot cards, and I don't really want to do 3 tiers, which is why, and also I have to limit the number of people that are in the Happy Mail tier because, you know, there's only so many people that can interact. I'm just changing it now. I was just double checking to see how many people are in there already. Oops. But I will open it up and put space. So it should be open now if you want to join. No pressure if you don't, but if you do, and this is open to anyone, it's open now, and then I'll close it later today. And then I know that's done. And if you join in June, which is now, then everyone who's a member in June is the one who, they're the group that are going to receive the favorites palette. And with the Happy Mail tier, I send out 5 to 8 watercolor dot cards is what I should be sending out. If you remember, you've probably noticed that I haven't been able to do that yet because I get overexcited and then I'm like, oh, 12 colors, 9 colors, 16 colors. Have the whole mindset, have this, have that. Like I get carried away. So so it's never like actually been eight colors, but moving forward, I think I will start curating it so that it comes down to 5 to 8 colors as initially planned, so that we can do different things. So some months it will be like we did one month that was exploring all the greens that I liked. Another month was comparing different PB60s. Another month was all the pastel colors from Holbein. Another month was purples. Another month was exploring the My Merry Blue watercolors. And then I also want to do the favorites palette. So you submit a few of your favorite colors. I will curate a palette, and then there'll be a video for all Ko-fi members so that we can all kind of share our love of the different watercolors. And then there'll be the Happy Mail dot cards for Happy Mail members. No, it's not a burden for me, Danny G, at all. Don't worry. Oh, enjoy work, Janina. Thank you so much for joining. It's been really lovely catching up with you. And thank you for all your help with the pigments. Trying to not get... Let's stay together. No, it's not a burden at all. I was just trying to explain why it's not just always open. I think if I restrict when it is open and how many people are in there, then I can just make it better. And thank you so much for joining. Okay. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to let you all go to sleep. Let you all enjoy your day while I go and take a power nap and try and wake up and be not nocturnal later on for the rest of the day. Thank you so much, Terry. You're always so sweet, so kind to me. I'm gonna, to be honest, I want to dry and then go over these bits with white so that I have even more contrast. Welcome, welcome, Danny. It's funny because Ko-fi connects to my YouTube, so it's always so pleasant to see that pop up while I'm live streaming. But yeah, these are the colors that I got, the Danny Omrani watercolors. These are the Rosa Gallery watercolors. And then a special thank you to Etchr for getting me the Etchr, for getting me the Nano Satchel. But yeah, good night, Miss Ebony. Good night, Terry. Good night, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the like button. I always forget to ask. But yeah, I really appreciate you all being here. Welcome again. Welcome to the Happy Mail tier, Danny. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day, a wonderful night wherever you are in the world. But yeah, thank you all so much. And yeah, welcome, Danny. Welcome again. Welcome back. Welcome. Thank you so much. Bye.